here is David giving testimony to God. And he's saying, my soul finds rest in God alone, and my salvation comes from him. But then he says, how long will you assault a man? Would all of you throw him down? This leaning wall, this tottering fence. They fully intend to topple him from his lofty place. They take delight in lies. With their mouths they bless, but in their hearts they curse. He's clearly got some enemies. And now he picks up where he started from, but now instead of simply saying, my soul finds rest, it's almost as if he's talking to himself. He's talking to his soul. He's saying, find rest, O my soul, in God alone. Because perhaps his eyes are moved to have doubts as he looks at the enemies. And so he's saying, find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from him. He's putting his eyes upon the Lord in whom he has salvation. And he alone is my rock, he says, and my salvation. He's my fortress. I shall not be shaken. My salvation and my honour depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. I wonder how many of us can speak like this ourselves. As David spoke of his God, the God of eternity. And he says then, trust in him at all times, O people. Pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. We're talking tonight a lot about giving testimony. Giving testimony. And here you could say that this is part of what should be the normal Christian life, or the believer's life, in either Old Testament or New Testament, or this church age that we're in now, of this pouring our hearts out to him, being a natural outworking of our faith. We don't think it's strange. We don't box ourselves in and say, well, we've got to say these set prayers, or only express ourselves in a certain way. Pour out your hearts to him, he's saying to the people. For God is our refuge. He is the one. We don't have to put on, as it were, an act for him. Though he is holy, though he is high above everyone else, yes, that means that he knows us in our deepest place. And he wants to hear from us. He wants to hear the truth from us. So he says, pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. And there's a bit more perspective in the next couple of verses. Lowborn men are but a breath. In other words, they quickly are gone. They expire. The highborn are but a lie. Well, yes, they do exist. The rich, the wealthy. The point is, wealth is impressive, but it's fleeting. You think how many times you might have read the life story of people who had money, and in an instant it was gone. And that's the point he's making here. The highborn are but a lie, because that money is, although it might be impressive to you and me, maybe other people as well, it might seem impressive to have the wealth, the money, and the things that money can buy. And look at them in their nice places. Look at them living it up. Look at them with their rich friends. Their power, the authority they might swagger around with perhaps. But no, it says if weighed on the balance, they're nothing. Together they're only a breath, the highborn and the lowborn. Do not trust in extortion or take pride in stolen goods, though your riches increase. Do not set your heart on them. It's all about perspective. The Lord might have allowed you to have certain good things in life, but don't set your heart on them. One thing God has spoken. Two things have I heard. That's a Jewish way of speaking. Sometimes they will say about 6 and then 7 things, or 3 and then 4 things. And he says this, that you, O God, are strong, and that you, O Lord, are loving. Surely you will reward each person according to what he has done. Yes, to what he has done with the Lord, to what he has done with the opportunity. We need to find rest in God alone, don't we? And sometimes when we speak and speak to others, that we see people who are at a loss to know what life is about. And we are to direct them as well, to trust in him at all times and to pour out our hearts to him. How can we come to Christ? How can we come to God? It's always through Christ, isn't it? He is the door. He said that to us. He is the door by which we may come. We must come humbly. We must come at the foot of the cross. We must come knowing that we do not have any means to save ourselves. It is only through his shed blood on the cross for our sins that we have this ability to come into his presence. And he accepts us because of Jesus' righteousness, because of that great exchange we were talking about. Lord, you were rich beyond all splendour, but for love's sake, for the love of you and me, he became so poor. A glorious thing that is. May we feel humbled at the great God doing all this for us, for our fellowship, that he might be united with us, reconciled with us, with you and me, and not just for a time, but truly for eternity. Well, I've just been looking there at some words of testimony and of encouragement, perhaps even of challenge from David there. And I want us now to share in a time of testimony. Perhaps you prepared something, maybe you haven't prepared anything, and you might suddenly think, oh yes, I know now, the Lord's blessed me here, at this moment, at that time, at this point in the year, and may you work amongst us now. As I said earlier, I believe on the WhatsApp message, this is not to do with sounding impressive. It's not who's got the most impressive testimony. Quite the reverse. It's about saying, well, the Lord has chosen to take this, bring this into my life, to allow this into my life. Whether it seems like a blessing or seems like something unwanted, I must accept it in his good grace, with the grace given to me by him. Yeah. So let's share together now. And I'll come down off the platform. Good.